One of the most common questions that I receive is how I choose quality novels for both free voluntary reading and whole class novels. So today I'm going to share with you the first 5 things that I look for when choosing a novel that I'm going to use in the class with my students. Number 5 is illustrations. Now this goes both for the cover and the interior illustrations. Now, I know they say don't judge a book by a cover, but students often do, and to be honest, adults do as well. Now, interior illustrations can do several things. 1, it can help clarify what they're reading by kind of validating what they thought they were understanding in the text. Number 2, it gives them a little mini brain break. It takes their focus off the words for a second. They look over the illustration, kind of make a connection, and then get back to reading again. And the third thing illustrations can do is help the students create that mental picture of what they're reading. It's been shown that students, since they read less now, have less of an ability to create that mental picture. So those illustrations kind of help them focus back in and help create that mental awareness, that mental movie that we're looking for when we read. Now, number 4 are glosses. Now, glosses are both a glossary and footnotes that you might find throughout the book. In my opinion, a good CI novel has every single word in the glossary, including words like the, and, but, anything like that. Now, footnotes should include any word that's out of bounds. Now, that could be something that is well beyond the level or the stated level of the novel, or just a word that's so uncommon that they're probably not going to run into it on a normal basis anyways. Those should all have footnotes within the chapter, preferably on the same page as when it occurs. Now, the third thing that I look for has to do with word count, and we're talking about both total word count and unique word count. Focusing first on total word count, there's no magic number to say what's right for a certain level, but in general, with comprehensible input novels, you'll often find that the easiest novels have somewhere between 1 and 3,000 total words. The intermediate levels often between 3 to 10,000 words, and the advanced books can have 10,000 on up. Now, dealing with unique word count, this can be tricky because there's no set definition of unique word count at this time. Now, in general, most authors kind of follow the same idea of word families, meaning if you were talking about Spanish, the words está and estás would be in the same word family. So those actually only count for one word in the total or the unique word count, right? Often, level 1 books only have between 0, of course, to 200 unique words. Mid-range books will often have between 200 and 400, and advanced books from 400 plus. Now, number 2 on my list is equity. And equity can be a whole range of things that we're looking for. I'm going to look at a little list just so I don't forget. Talking about culture, race, gender, sexual orientation, expression, ability, neurodiversity. The list can go on and on. Now, I'm not an expert in that field in making sure that a novel has all those things. So one of the biggest resources I use is LLAB. I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, but it's spelled LLLAB, which stands for Language Learning Library Advisory Board. Now, if you want to check them out and see some of their recommendations, they have the wearelab.org website, and it's a great resource if you want to make sure that a book it has equity built into it. Now, number 1 for me is a compelling story. Now, this is the most important thing of all. If the story is not just interesting, but compelling, it's game over. Students aren't going to touch the book. They're not going to read it. It's going to sit on your shelf untouched forever. Now, there's no one definition of compelling, so my biggest recommendation is making sure you have a wide variety of genres. Now, this could include romance, action, mystery, science fiction, sports, nonfiction, books that are very heavy with the culture, and books that have almost no cultural focus at all. You need to run the whole gambit of books out there just to make sure we're reaching all of our students. Because just like you and I aren't going to read the same books, our students aren't going to be interested in the same books from each other and from year to year. Now, I may not find a particular book compelling, but that doesn't mean that one of my students might not. So I try to think, is there a student out there? Could I find somebody in my classroom that finds this particular genre, this topic, this storyline compelling? And if so, I'm going to try to include it in my library. And I kind of have an addiction. I buy almost everything that I can find to put in my library, as long as it meets these 5 criteria. Is this everything? Probably not, but these are the first 5 things that I look for when I decide if I'm going to buy a novel for my classroom, whether it's for free volunteer reading or a whole class novel. Okay, please comment with any questions, aha moments, or what you'd like to see be the topic for my next video. And if you want to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, comment, and of course, most importantly, share with other teachers that you think would enjoy or need to hear about this topic. And if you're looking for a great overview of why reading is important in the classroom, check out this video up here and see my take on it. Thank you for your dedication to education and all you do for your students. As you know, world language teachers teach the world more than language. Thank you. Hasta luego.